What is up? What is up, everyone? This is Ebonixs. I am here with the Don CJG and Dio Ebonixs. We are the Digital Cypha Podcast. What is going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody?
Hey, how you doing?
Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are.
Wait, so Don CJG comes in like he's from the Dirty South.
Hey, what's going on, man?
It's been an interesting week. A lot of gaming news has been revealed. But one thing that we didn't get to talk about, I'm not sure if we got to talk about it or it happened earlier this week, and that was the Soul Calibur tournament. And man, was that crazy. I did not expect to be impressed by the fighting. I thought that since it's Game Pass, there'll be some noobs going in and be like, oh, I can fight, you know? Bro, I was blown away by some of the things that was going on. How about you, Dio? Because you and I was in that chat and we were just like going in, listening to these commentators. Well, commentator.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I can't believe I can't remember her name. She was amazing.
Alicia something.
Yes, exactly. Not to say anything bad about the other one, but I mean, she was definitely all about it. She knew what she was talking about. She knew what she was commentating on. She was hyped. It was awesome how she was just all about it. It was great.
Yeah, her name was Alicia X Life _. That's
Yes.
her Twitter handle, and she's a pro commentator for Soul Calibur. I think it was a perfect. You know what? I admit that I judged the book by its cover. I was like, who's this girl? Man, what's she gonna do? And she brought the game. She brought it, man. I think, and Dio can attest to this. He can agree that if it wasn't for her, I think we would have turned off that tournament. We would not have continued.
Oh, really?
Dude, she was hyped. She was hyped. Oh man, like, have you ever sat down with someone, right? Like you're watching a football game, and the guy does like a backflip kick into the goal, and the guy's like, yo, and he did the backflip kick into the goal like your mama. What's up? What's up? What's up? say what? It was like that. I was like, girl is killing it.
She's
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. It was definitely like Mexican soccer announcer, right? Like how to get all hyped and crazy. Yeah, definitely had that vibe.
Dude, you know that she was killing it because even the guy who was there with her he was watching her in amazement. Like
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna have to come with something like, as hype as that, like it's like playing basketball, right? And somebody who's smaller than you dunks over your head, right? And then you're like, okay, I gotta come back, but then your comeback is like weak, and you keep talking about look, I think this is the first time I didn't want to hear about Game Pass ever in the whole show. There was so much reference of Game Pass, I was tired of it. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was good. It was good.
He just wasn't selling it very well, right? Like he would never really like link it up appropriately. He was just kind of like throwing it there because he had nothing else to say, right? Like he couldn't relate to anything. I mean, it was kind of weird because he's a PvP player in StarCraft. I mean, supposedly or whatever. I don't know. I don't really know him as a player or anything like that yet, but
Man.
I would think even as a PvP player, you would still be able to relate somehow. He just felt it just didn't feel, natural how he was going about it, and he kept getting caught on his phone. It was just, I don't know.
Yo, that was crazy. So yeah, what was it? The fight was.
I feel like I should have watched this, right?
Dude, you should have been there. So it was like there. Oh yeah, it was a commercial. It was an intermission time, and they were taking a break and Game Pass stuff was going on. And then it comes back and the girl's talking. And the guy, he's on his phone, right?
No.
And then he looks up and realizes that the red light is on. He has that look like shoot, we're recording.
Oh, he's like, oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then he plays it off by like looking at the camera, shaking his, doing a little nod, and then silently puts the phone to the side.
Oh, no.
And then he plays it
This
again.
reminds me of that EA conference they had a couple years back, where they had that YouTube guy doing the announcements, and he just didn't know what he was doing.
Oh
Reminds me of
god.
that so much.
I mean, no, it was no disrespect to the guy. Yeah, I mean, I like what Dio was saying. The girl, she was bringing in the heat. As a commentator, like she made you, made you look and watch the moves and get excited for it. If you're into gaming, if you're into sports, or if you're into anything like, let's say, martial arts, a UFC, or karate tournaments or whatever, right? It doesn't matter. Like, if you know how hype to get in some of these things, this would have been so easy to just like piggyback off of her, cause all he would be like, yeah, that was crazy, yo, and both of them fell off the ring, like, oh, that was a diss. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would have been easy, but bro,
He just wasn't matching the energy. He was.
his energy was like, I woke up this morning, I got a text message from Xbox Game Pass saying you're doing this, and to talk about Game Pass, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it came across. So he came up and he saw the girl's there. He probably thinking what I was thinking, man, what this girl gonna do? We're probably gonna match our energy. And then she starts off like, what is up, everybody? We're playing some Soul Calibur tournament. What is up? What is up? What is up? And he's like, okay, I can't match that.
Yeah, he could have definitely been a hype man. I mean, he didn't even have to be at the same energy level.
Yeah.
It was something, man. It was definitely something.
It was crazy.
Oh, man. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that.
Yo, you should watch it. If it's, I think it might be on YouTube. But yo,
I will scout you.
The next one they do.
It was also longer than I expected.
What was it? The elimination.
Not that it was a bad thing.
Yeah,
it was. I don't remember the exact rules, but it was pretty standard.
They brought some people back from the who lost, like in the beginning and stuff like that. They brought it towards the end. Yeah, so but it was cool.
Yeah, because the guy who ended up winning actually lost the first match, and then after that he won every single one after.
And I think he said something about that, like he was just testing the waters to see what he was dealing with or something, perhaps.
I think he did it on purpose, that like just to flaunt, like show how skilled he was, because once you lose that first match, you get put in the loser bracket, so you actually had to play more matches to win. So you're already putting yourself at a big disadvantage. I think he did that on purpose, just to be like, yeah, I'm the shiz,
Oh, so he put himself in like a deficit to like be like a comeback story.
Yeah,
like it was pretty crazy, It was awesome to watch.
It was good. It was good. It was basically a troll to me, because I'm assuming that when somebody does that, they're setting the stage for people to believe that he sucks, pretty much.
Oh no, I'm sorry. He actually didn't win. It was the other guy who won, but he made it all the way to the end.
Yeah,
it was really close. He actually did not win because he was the one who kept switching his characters.
Oh really?
Where the other person kept with Mina the whole time. I just can't think of their names right now.
So
yeah.
So that was a tournament that happened. I think it was either this week or it was last week.
I think it was
the week before.
I think we talked about it last week.
Yeah, right. It was last weekend. It was Saturday. Last Saturday.
So it was after the podcast. Then we end up watching.
Yeah. Yeah.
So other than that though, Dio, what's been going on, son? What's been going on?
Just a lot of World of Warcraft Classic, man. Getting ready for the Burning Crusade. Hopefully by next month that'll be out.
Okay,
But
we can't have you talk about World of Warcraft. You've been eating, sleeping, and drinking, and
Welcome to the World of Warcraft
you know,
podcast.
the family's been like, Daddy, and you be like, for the Horde. But what's been going on?
I guess some sad news for Blizzard. It doesn't affect World of Warcraft directly, but Jeff Kaplan left the Blizzard Entertainment team. He was a vet there for like 19 years. He actually started with World of Warcraft back in 2002, like developing quests and everything. And I remember him being game director when I started playing, because I was maining a warrior at the time, and apparently he mained a warrior. And then I kind of felt like he always took care of them. And then once he left WoW and went to like other games in Blizzard, like Warriors became crappy, but they weren't as good. They were harder to play. But yeah, it's kind of sad because, you know, that's just one more person from the original Blizzard team who's gone. Yeah. You know, and they just keep losing a lot of veteran devs, and I don't know, it's nice to have fresh blood, but at the same time you have less of the old leading them, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You don't have that legacy membership.
Yeah, and a lot of that legacy has actually gone to other, you know, startup teams, you know, so that's also kind of not scary, but it's just sad that Blizzard is just not really what it was. It's like what's it called, like BioWare, you know, a lot of these companies becoming that.
But it is kind of scary though, because people look at that, comparing, like, you can compare that to Microsoft buying out Discord, right? Where
true.
Where people who are so involved with the Discord as a platform and community, all of a sudden here comes Microsoft. Microsoft offered, and then they later on come to Microsoft saying, hey, we're looking to sell. Because this is the second time, and there were people who just didn't want it to happen because they were afraid that the changes was going to be so dramatic. So in relative, you know, when you have new blood coming into a studio, let's say 343, you know, they're making Halo Infinite 2, and the original Halo Infinite, let's say that sells, you know, like multi-platform. I'm sure it's record sales, but it just goes crazy, right? And then next, you know, everybody's gone from 343 and there's new people. You know, Don CJG would be like, you know, ready to go postal, you know, online. You know, what are you changing? What are you keeping? You know what I'm saying? And all this other stuff. I mean, we thought that what was it? Well, dual weapons was going to be the thing. That was one. And then playing as an enemy character was another thing. Elites, right? So it's just two things so far, unless Don can correct me on some more that they're taking away.
Yeah, no, I think this is the thing. I think, you know, since 343 took over from Bungie, you know, you're kind of seeing that, you know, a lot of people did transfer over from Bungie to 343, but it's because it's just such a different company now that you can see the difference in the products. I think that, you know, they're on a course correction for that. But, you know, referring that to World of Warcraft and everything they're doing there with this guy leaving in Blizzard, you know, you're gonna see the less of this legacy staff you have. You do see a bit of a change over time in direction, and things just don't always feel the same. I guess you only really go back to the original kind of idea and thoughts is when people start saying, okay, this isn't right. You know, this isn't the game we fell in love with.
Yeah. Right. Oh, that's for sure. I mean, that's why I'm playing a lot more classic than I play what's current WoW.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you could see maybe, I don't know, you know, ins and outs of World of Warcraft at the minute, but I think if more people start playing classic rather than the newer stuff, maybe that's a telltale sign of what every company needs to do.
Yeah.
But let's say that happens, right? Because Dio, I don't know if you know this, but I'm still going to ask. Do you know statistically how many people play classic versus retail?
Retail does still have a higher player base. And that's fine. I think most people who do play retail is because they're a lot more casual.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really want to put in the grind, because it is a very different game, even though they're both World of Warcraft. Um, with Classic, you really have to grind. You really have to. It's just an experience. You're not just gonna get to level cap in a day or two. You're gonna take maybe a month, maybe 3 months if you're a new player and you don't know where you're going, what you're doing, and it's gonna force you to interact socially with other players to learn. Which, for people who I'd say tend to play modern MMOs like Retail WoW, and I would even say games like ESO,
Mm-hmm.
not to call them out on it, but
Mm-hmm.
they try to cater to the single player who still wants to play an MMO,
Mm.
and that's good. But at the same time, it just ends up making the game more and more single player, which that's not the point of an MMO.
Right.
I mean, when you look at the history of MMO RPGs, it was almost like the big allure to MMOs was because there wasn't like Discord, there wasn't big chat boxes like they used to have. It was just all forums, right? And you had like little things like maybe like AOL Instant Messenger and stuff like that. So MMOs were like a place to actually interact with people, and that has really changed now. Now it's more kind of like social media where people don't really use social media really to communicate as much as what they use it to is to kind of show off what they have and what they want and all these kind of things. That's kind of what MMOs are starting to turn into also. At least in my opinion.
Got you. So it's funny that we're mentioning some of these things because apparently this week some ex-Bungie members formed a studio called Firewalk Studios, and they are working on an exclusive for PlayStation. For PlayStation.
Okay.
It's gonna be a shooter genre, multiplayer, open world. I might be sounding cliche because I've been hearing about it so many times. Interconnected open world, if you will. I might be embellishing a little bit too much because I'm still trying to find that information. But today we are thrilled to announce a partnership with Sony Interactive Entertainment for our new original multiplayer game. For our team, the opportunity to create new worlds and inspire more amazing moments for players around the world is the fire and ambition that keeps us going. That's what the Firewalk Studio head Tony Su HSU said. It was founded in 2018, and they're a part of Probably Monsters, a family of studios. They're neither publisher nor developer. That's an interesting take. And I believe Probably Monsters is looking to create some form of ecosystem to where they help fund the games or help push games forward. This one is different than what we spoke about last week, and I forgot what the name was for that. But these are guys who will help, like the foundation of this team were ex-Bungie, a little bit from Halo, and so forth, and they are now making an exclusive for PlayStation. So that's a good win for Sony. And when I say win, I mean I'm talking like I don't even think these guys were bought. I think these guys sat down at a table and said we would like to make a game for PlayStation, and PlayStation was like yes, because of Destiny. I mean, who would not? Like come on.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
So, but that's one of the big things that happened this week. Another thing that happened was, PlayStation is promoting the Video Pass. Not sure if you guys heard about that, but so at first they took down all the videos, all the movies, and then they created the Video Pass for PlayStation Plus subscribers. what do you guys feel about that? Because it feels a little bit weird that they would go that route. Not really. I'm not saying that's a bad idea, but it's kind of weird when they started off the generation of the PS4 saying that we are a games only console.
Right. Yeah. Like when I saw the post that you made in our Discord about this, I was very kind of, I don't know, a bit confused to why they would go for a video pass. And right now I'm still a bit confused as to why, but I'm kind of looking at it as, is this a sign of things to come for Sony in terms of maybe they're looking at a different scope of things? You look at Sony, and I think it's important to remember that they're not only just a video game company. Like Microsoft isn't just an Xbox company.
Right.
Yeah.
You do have Sony Interactive Entertainment as a whole, which is movies like Spider-Man and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there is some tie-in there potentially. They do have a lot of kind of connections to that entertainment world, and kind of bundling it in with your PS. Was it PS Now, PS Plus,
right?
Whichever one it was.
Well,
I think there's probably a move there. As for what it is, I'm not particularly too sure.
So, okay, I'm like, Dio, do you got anything before I jump in on this?
I think that's a good point that Don made, was that if they tie it to PS Now, then that will give it even more value. I think this is kind of a natural move for them to go, because I mean, you've seen it with Disney, you see it with HBO. They're all doing their own streaming service, so of course Sony would do it as well. I think it would be a very smart move for them to include it with Now, but from what you said, it's included with PlayStation Plus subscribers, so that's kind of like the whole audience at that point. So you're not really, I mean, that's great for everybody, right? But I think it would have given more value to PS Now, and I think that would have been the smarter move in my opinion.
Well,
I don't know.
I agree, and I have some questions. These are open-ended questions. Chat, if you guys have anything, you guys can feel free to ask some questions about it too. But one of the things is, so Game Pass, Microsoft is good with Game Pass because Microsoft's been working on Game Pass since the launch of the Xbox One, right?
Yeah.
And we know that because the Xbox One launched with the Kinect, and then all this backlash happened. Phil Spencer came into position, and then Kinect left, DRM left, and all this other stuff left, right? So they've been working on it since then. Well, maybe even before that. Let's say Phil Spencer had like a black book of things that he wanted to take care of before he became, the head of Xbox.
Hit list, I mean,
exactly. So when the only reason why I think that it worked was because Microsoft is a very organized corporation. I can't look at Microsoft the way I look at Sony in the gaming perspective. Microsoft has been, PC centric up until Xbox, and they remain PC centric, but it's kind of like Microsoft, what was it? Microsoft Studios for PC here, and then Xbox over there since 2002. They were never really seeing eye to eye up until
they weren't aligned up.
Until this point, technically, even in the Xbox One generation.
Yeah, I think that was one of Phil Spencer's big things. He wanted to kind of unify all those Xbox studios and put all those resources together.
Right, because that was Bill Gates' vision for the original Xbox OG. So it's interesting, right? But the thing about it is, Microsoft has all these publishing and studio relationships over the course of time. So it was kind of like some things were easy. Like, okay, for instance, Bethesda. They've been working with Bethesda forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you look at how they work with other studios and the promises that were being made and then completed. I mean, we're seeing studios saying, hey, we're going to be on Game Pass because we don't have to worry about production costs. It's handled. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's on a whole different level. So when I think about Sony and the video pass situation, I'm asking myself, okay, when Jim Ryan was thinking about a competitor's perspective, like what would I do? And then instead of looking at PlayStation, you look at the higher up, you look at Sony, like who owns them. I'm like, okay, we are a video production, music production company. We push out videos, we push out music. Let's tap into that. So it makes sense. Now, based on what you guys were saying, now I'm trying to find out how would that make sense for PlayStation now. Only if now I see it. Okay, disregard, because PlayStation now is a streaming service, and you're streaming videos. So if they both exist underneath the same platform, it's kind of like, a new movie coming out, just like Mortal Kombat, which we'll probably talk about later. Did you watch it, Dio?
No, not yet.
Okay. Did you watch it, Don?
No.
Okay. All right. We won't talk about it. I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah. So being able to get date releases, because remember, they already said on PlayStation, they can't see it as a sustainable thing to put video games brand new off the rip into PlayStation Now.
Yeah, which makes
sense. So you think, you think Jim Ryan's trying to do what Phil Spencer did with Xbox by unifying that Sony brand together as one kind of thing?
No, I don't know about that. That don't sound right to me, because if PlayStation if PlayStation fails, you know what I'm saying, Sony's gonna be like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? And then there's gonna be a whole.
To me, it definitely feels like Jim Ryan's trying to kind of bring things together a bit more, kind of put it into one kind of service, which I think Game Pass has done a good job of.
He's definitely trying to emulate in different ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think he's looking at Game Pass and he's like, we have to do that. Some way, form, or fashion, without saying that we are following Game Pass, we need to do that. The question is this just it, or is there more? Because the music is the next thing. Well, we're talking about like if I can't say this, what are the IPs of Sony all together as a major corporation, a worldwide corporation? What does Sony own that we can leverage? Because Xbox, the only thing that Xbox has is the studios they've acquired. The only thing that Microsoft has is Windows 10, Windows Server, Surface Pro, and now they're hardware, software, but they're not like the consumer level, like, oh, I'm going to get me something Microsoft. I'm going to get me something Windows. That's like on a
they don't own
Apple
that
level.
kind of entertainment bracket.
You know what I'm saying? They're not sought after like that. You know what I mean? Like, the only thing that's sought after for Sony is the movies and the video and the music, but it's technically not Sony. It's the artists. It's the production, like Steven Spielberg, those type of people. So it's just a matter of like how to replicate that. And I don't know. I think video pass is cool. I just seems weird. It's just like
I think there's some value to it for sure, but I think tying it to PlayStation per se is a bit weird to me.
Well, I mean, I look, it's on PlayStation. I think it's cool as a product, but the way how it's marketed as though it's video pass. So you have Game Pass for Xbox and you have Video Pass for PlayStation. You know what I mean?
You think Sony just trying to take the name Video Pass for Microsoft can?
I mean, it just feels weird though. I mean, because Video Pass could have easily been an Xbox thing too. For instead of what is it called, the app that we have to rent and purchase videos, it could have been called that too. TV. Exactly. I mean, but why call? I mean, again, this is no disrespect to any name calling whatever, but it just feels so convenient that they call it Video Pass. I'm just saying, it just feels weird. But more power to Sony, PlayStation. You're doing your thing. You've captured a new studio. You've created a new product. and that product is going to is right. I think it's going to be $1. No, sorry, I'm wrong. It's on trial until next year, April timeframe. So we'll see where that sits in 12 months from now. Dio, do you have anything else?
A little bit of other good news from Sony is that they won't shut down the PS3 and PS Vita stores after all.
Yes.
Man, that sounds like
which
an
I was
Xbox
pretty
thing.
surprised about.
That sounds like the Xbox thing that happened. Oh, we're gonna charge what? Extra?
Yeah,
And then
but they are still closing the PSP store. They're still
Yes.
closing that.
Yeah.
I think they're testing the waters. I still feel like it's gonna end up on the PlayStation Now. But they're gonna, little by little just add it in there. I think PSP is gonna be the first guy that gets in there like in a few more months, and then I think they're gonna maybe dip their toes with the PS3 games, and then the PS Vita after.
For sure. I was watching a video on this earlier again, just kind of refreshing the topic, and I kind of looked at it as the way they phrased it. I think Jim Ryan wrote it. He was saying that, we understand that players care about their legacy titles, and to me, I kind of interpret that. I hope, for the sake of the gamers over there on the PlayStation platform, that PlayStation have realized there is value in what people have owned previously, and they want to bring that over. But I don't know at the minute if they have the infrastructure or where that is on their timeline to bring that over, but I hope they do. Because just closing it outright like they did, just with basically no warning. So I remember I saw leaks about this information about a week before it happened, and just seeing it just happen, they just gave you no kind of warning. It was a bit crazy.
Yeah.
And,
I still don't understand the point of closing them, honestly, because
Yeah.
I mean that's still revenue. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, yeah, this is my thing. They were saying it was a bit like they don't really have the focus or the resources to keep it open. It's like they're saying they're refocusing to try to keep it open. But at the end of the day, just don't turn the off switch.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
But when you see it though, it's kind of like you see the trend now. They brought it back open, but they brought it back open because of the backlash. If nobody said anything, it would have been a big issue. Not to mention they closed the video store, and then they bring in the video pass. So it sounds like it sounds like
I didn't know that.
yeah, they shut down the video aspect of like you being able to purchase videos. I'm not sure if it's 100% videos or what, but I think somewhere it's in the news somewhere that they took that down. Let me was it PlayStation shuts down video.
I would think that would have a bigger backlash because I think a lot more people buy digital videos and movies now compared to they used to.
Here's what it was. Sony is killing on-demand video in the PlayStation Store. That's what that was. This was back in March the 2nd. When they did that, and now we see the video pass a month later. The streaming video business is booming. While that makes it easier to access tons of content, for some companies like Sony, it makes it less attractive to manage digital storefronts. So at the end of August, Sony is disabling ability to buy on-demand videos in the PlayStation Store.
Wow.
That's from Gizmodo.com. So anybody looking into that. Here's the thing. And I was thinking about this, right? So Sony is bringing in the videos to PlayStation for PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
How are these guys gonna get the same treatment as those who are, let's say, on Xbox, these indies and AAA studios who coming in, because Xbox is paying these guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then not to mention, Xbox is allowing their video games to be discounted. If they were $59.99, they're like $49.99 or a little bit lower. percentage
Yep.
base, right? Plus royalties, right? So I'm wondering how Sony and PlayStation is making this move, because we're talking about like let's say, what's the name of it? Let's say another Marvel movie, Captain America 4, I think is being developed. That is that budget is super huge, millions.
Yeah.
So how many subscriptions do you need to pay Sony to get that day one without having to pay for the actual video? Or will there be a PlayStation Plus Premium that's twice the amount of the PlayStation Plus to watch it? Like, what's going to be the strategy? Because you won't put your video games date and date on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Better put the movies and go out the box office.
That's what I'm saying. So that's going to be an interesting take to see where that goes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Huh.
I got Dio stuff. Like, Dio, what's going on? What are you thinking hard about?
No, I think this is a pretty scummy move with them closing that video store. And like, so you bring up Captain America. I mean, that's a Disney property, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So with this video pass, are you not going to be able to see like other studio stuff like Paramount or Universal or Disney or whatever? It's just going to be exclusively to Sony. You know what I mean?
I think
it's a bit
where-
weird. I think I think with Sony especially, you look at, okay, let's say, I know Sony own rights to Spider-Man, right? So let's look at Spider-Man 3 was in development. At the minute, those Spider-Man movies aren't even on Disney Plus.
Exactly.
So, I think maybe they would have control over where, they could put the Spider-Man movies and Venom onto their own platform and kind of hold it out of other streaming services. But I think, it's weird, man. It's a really strange little move. And it's kind of, at least for me, without, being in that kind of industry, it's a bit hard to predict why they're going with it.
I'm checking on something because you guys just brought something up.
I just feel like it kind of limits their market if they go that route in a way, indirectly.
I think what is like Disney right now? I think they are releasing the Black Widow movie on Disney Plus instead of theaters, just because it's supposed to come out last year, and obviously with the whole global pandemic and whatnot. So I think maybe they could, if we see how that goes, give us an interpretation of how it could happen with Sony.
I might be wrong here, but I thought Sony Pictures had a streaming service of its own.
No, I don't think so.
Like how you.
I don't think so, but I
Disney
think
Plus.
this would turn into it.
That's what I'm wondering. And instead of utilizing their own corporation to push, they're using PlayStation as a catalyst.
Test the water.
Yeah. Which is interesting because then we're seeing. Okay, now the tide has shifted.
Oh, you know why they're doing that? So now it makes more sense.
To sell the PlayStation 5.
No, not even. So
that's what I'm
because you have all these PlayStation 4 users who have PS Now already. Oh, not PS Now.
PS Plus.
Whatever their Xbox Live, PS Plus.
Yeah, PS Plus.
So when they go to the shareholders and they show, hey, look at how our streaming service, it has all these members who are paying for it, because all these people are not adopting something new. It's already baked in, right? But it's still going to show all those numbers like, hey, this is very successful.
So
Look how
they're
many
going
people-
to artificially inflate those numbers rather than...
Yes.
Well,
Okay.
you also got to consider the fact that a lot of people who are PlayStation 4 may not have upgraded to the 5. So you're talking about the
Exactly.
last gen was the leading gen, right? Millions of consoles sold. So to capitalize, there's your service. It makes sense. It makes sense from that perspective.
Yep.
And it's free.
That
To,
would make more sense.
it's free to PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
Right. And it's on trial for a year. So we're talking about millions of people have to make use of PlayStation Plus. I mean, sorry, of Video Pass to make it a sustainable solution for PlayStation and Sony.
So that's setting the foundation for it.
Yeah. I mean, either way, I think Sony Pictures is going to have a streaming service regardless. It's just how they're going to implement it. Yeah.
For sure.
Jennifer, how you doing? Welcome to the podcast. It's okay that you're late as long as you're here. Lewis, also welcome. And to the other 5, viewers out there, thank you for stopping in and listening as well. It was interesting. We started off with Soul Calibur and the tourney that happened this past weekend, onto, Sony and the movements that they've made, right? We just got finished talking about the video pass that they're introducing, after the closure of on-demand, selling on the PlayStation Store. It's an interesting move. So, you got anything else for us, Dio? You had something last week that you didn't get to talk about. You remember?
Oh, well, with the Nintendo Indie...
Yeah.
I forget what's the...
Nintendo
Indie World. Yeah, Indie World.
Okay.
It was all right. I think the presentation, if I'm being honest, comparatively to the Xbox Indie Show, I like the presentation format a lot more on the Nintendo side. It was a lot more professional. It was a lot more clean. I felt like it was too short. Like where the Xbox one, it felt like it was too long. This was too short.
Oh, way too long.
Yeah. So I would like to see somewhere more in the middle. The Nintendo one was like maybe like 20 minutes or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was super short.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
There were some games that are on both, right? Like obviously are going on the Xbox also, but it had a pretty decent amount of games, and a few of them are actually on sale already, or have demos out on the Switch.
Cool.
So for the people who want to get into that, it's really fun. I would say my big one on there that I'm really excited about is, we've talked about it before, is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder Revenge.
Oh yeah.
Man, it just looks so good.
Is that an exclusive for Nintendo, or is it coming out on all consoles or platforms that you know of?
I don't know, man. Like I think it might be exclusive to the Switch, at least for the beginning, because I haven't seen any other news. I know when it was first kind of announced before the indie for Nintendo, it said that it would be releasing, but it didn't say which consoles. And now with the Switch one, is showing there now, and I haven't seen any other news saying it might come to Xbox or PlayStation. I would imagine it would have it exclusive maybe for a year or so, but man, it's gonna be really good. I mean, if you like, Scott Pilgrim Saves the World, or you like the new Streets of Rage that came out, it's gonna be on that level of production value and greatness. It's gonna be really fun.
And for any of you guys who were suckers to arcades back in the day, think about it as so we are back. My apologies, everyone. The computer restarted, but what I was alluding to was that the game with Shredder's Revenge for Ninja Turtles, we had a discussion about it, and it kind of favors the old school arcade with Aliens vs Predator and the old school Ninja Turtles. You had to put those quarters in, and then you had to keep playing and stuff like that. That was
when
cool.
you're at the laundromat or like the pizzeria over there, and someone puts a quarter on the top. You're like, "Hey, I got the next game."
I am telling you, I miss those days, man. I miss those days.
Arcades, man. Good times.
Marvel vs. Capcom. Yeah, man. Street Fighter days. Mortal Kombat days.
Cool. So at this point, we don't know if it's going to be multi-platform, but I'm assuming if it does become exclusive, that would be a good deal for the Switch Pro. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. There was, quite a few indie games that looked really interesting. I mean, honestly, out of all the consoles, Switch probably does have like the most indie games.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there's something for everybody, and the Switch constantly has sales. I mean, you're gonna find something that suits your needs there.
Yeah, Switch is a huge platform.
So this week we also had the Game Stack from Microsoft. Now, Game
Indeed.
Stack. I'm sorry.
Indeed, we did.
Yes, we did. That is the Microsoft Mecca for nerds and geeks and tech savvy people. And I give much respect for people who understand the language. I I do technical support as well, part of my business, but the things that they were getting into was on another level. I'm telling you. So I'm just going to give you a run through on the Microsoft Game Stack. They had conversations dealing with the new DX12, the DX or DirectX 12. That is the software that is on every PC for developing games, kind of like the foundations would be DirectX 11 going into 12. And then they also talked about the Agility SDK. See, I'm losing people already. With the Agility SDK, they talk about shader model 6.6 and how fast your textures can get into the game when you load it up. So we talked about the DLSS deal. I think that's what it was called, where
Yes.
where the platform or engine would be looking at the game presentation on a specific device and determine at what resolution the game should be in and try to boost it over time into a higher res. Something like that. Well, with the shader model 6.6, I'm assuming that this will push the textures, like the 4K textures, faster into the game, into the platform, so that you're not having to render low to high. It just boom goes into your highest quality as soon as possible. Again, this is new stuff. They're going to be talking more about it to come. I'm sure they're going to talk about it in E3, talking about using those keywords. The Havoc physics engine, physics engine is what they also talked about. Now, if you don't know, Havoc was used for games like Mortal Kombat and some other stuff.
I think Halo had it as well for a while.
Halo does have it as well. They talk about PlayFab. PlayFab is that plugin or like a side, software. So let's say you're playing Outriders, and they realize that a specific weapon or a specific feature is breaking the game, and they can easily turn it off without having to restart the server or you restarting the game. It just happens to PlayFab. Or they can launch a special event right there and then. You get the notification, it starts at this time, it ends at this time, and you have to run and get it type of situation. That's another thing that PlayFab is good for. They talked about cloud distribution tools and services, of which ID at Azure sounds very interesting. So we already know about ID at Xbox. Those are the game creators who push their games to the Xbox platform, and you see them there on Game Pass or in the store. ID at Azure is a solution for developers who are making games for the Xbox to quickly get their games into the Azure cloud, providing the tools and services and everything else. They're kind of walking you through that process so you don't have to suffer the learning curve, if you will. So that's just one of the things there. And then they talked about directional audio, velocity architecture, ray tracing, and direct storage. Direct storage is a major thing because Xbox Series X and S has access to that, but the PC doesn't. So right now they're looking to push direct storage access to PC. Any questions about that before I go forward? Because that was a mouthful.
Oh, plenty, but I don't think I understand the answers.
Okay. Okay. If you've, of course, been working hardcore, doing your day job and coming home playing games, you might have missed the news, but Xbox has pushed out Game Pass for iOS. Did anybody get the invite?
I wish I did.
Aren't you in the Ultimate?
Yeah.
Check your email.
I do not have any emails.
All right. What about you, Dio?
They did not love me enough.
Ah.
Gates or Spencer.
I don't think I got that.
Okay.
Not yet.
So,
behind.
so fortunately and unfortunately, because because I'm feeling my brothers right now who are not getting it. I got it this morning. Right?
Okay.
And so I tested it on the Android. It works on Android, of course, and it works on your MacBook Pro and your iPhone and iPad. Now, so far I've only got it able to work on the Microsoft Edge browser. When I look at my email, it says, it's going to come towards Firefox and Google Chrome. But right now, of course, Microsoft owns the Edge platform. So it's on there. And guys, it looks real nice.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, so definitely if you're on the Game Pass Ultimate, you may be getting an invite anytime soon. Go ahead and jump in on it. Share your experiences on social media. Let the people know what it is, what it isn't, so Microsoft can fix their stuff and make it pro. So definitely.
I mean, some other good Xbox news.
What's up?
Starting the 21st, for people who don't know, if your Xbox Live Gold is inactive, you can still play free-to-play games for free online.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
And you
It's all
can
been pushed
use
out
looking for
officially.
group, party chat, all that stuff, man.
For sure, and they only released that to insiders a few weeks ago.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they've managed to push out to the global market so quickly has been amazing, man.
They
It's
got
really
the
cool
team.
to see that.
I mean, people underestimating Microsoft. Microsoft is a company of like researchers and engineers and scientists and so forth, man. Like they're on a different level, man. And I get it. Some people's like, man, this should be free. How come it's not? How come you just couldn't just do it? And my question is, what if they did and it sucked and it failed?
Yeah.
What would have happened then?
It's crazy that the turnaround from when that kind of question got brought up to everybody, and when the whole Xbox Live price hike would happen, and they turned it around and they said, "We hear you. We're gonna make Xbox Live free." And like a month or two later, it's happened. It's
Exactly.
impressive. It's really impressive.
Yeah, honestly, I expected it to come next month.
Right. I was like, it's gonna happen till summertime. And
Yeah.
they really put their heads together and decided, hey, let's make this happen real quick.
Yeah.
It's cool to see that.
Surprise news. People Can Fly, the guys who put out Outriders, right?
Yep.
They acquired a company called Phosphor Games.
Okay.
Phosphor Games are the people that created the game The Brookhaven Experiment, Corpse of Discovery, Horn, Nether, Gemini Heroes Reborn, Warhammer 40,000 Daka Squadron, World War Z, and Predator RV. Oh, sorry, not RV, VR. RV, like what? So they acquired them, and they're basically trying to improve their release of games, if you will, quality wise, and and people who are kind of connected to the brand in the way that they create their games. Because when I look at this, these are all kind of like, I think some of them are like grungy games, like Warhammer and Corpse of Discovery, Brookhaven Experiment. They're kind of like on the grungy side of gaming, right? Just like Gears of War, World War Z. They and then Outriders too. So they have like a acquired taste, if you will. So but it's interesting because that's a game development company acquiring another game development company.
Yeah, sounds like a good fit.
I'm just seeing. Has there been any other game development companies that acquire another game development company? Because so far it's just been Sony and Xbox and maybe Amazon. So publishers doing the work. You know what I'm saying? Well, you know what? I stand corrected. Bethesda, they bought a whole bunch
Yeah, I
of
was
people.
gonna say that.
They bought a whole bunch of people.
Yep.
And then they became a publisher after that. That would be interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. So what you got down? What's been going on?
I've got a few topics that tie into each other. I know we recently talked about Xbox Live going free to play.
Yeah.
Let's also talk about Game Pass hitting a huge milestone of 23 million users. 23
million users.
Which
Wow.
is a big chunky number.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Especially, I think I did some research the other day, and the last statistic they announced was 18 million back in about January. So within that 3-month period, they've up to 5 million subscribers, which is it's a big that's a big jump for 3 months. And I think games like Outriders probably helped MLB The Show.
Mm-hmm.
And
the value is being
there's a game, yeah, for sure. And I think I was looking at a game I played the other day. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's called Rain on Your Parade.
Yeah, I saw you playing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that got added to Game Pass this week. And the developer Unbound Creations, they what's today, the 24th?
Yes.
24th, yeah. On the 20th, they said they hit 150,000 players.
Oh wow!
After a day or two of launching their game, and this is an indie game, so
yeah.
You see,
it's crazy to see these people jumping on.
And this is why I don't understand why people are so objective towards Game Pass. I mean, from the perspective of understand the platform, forget about who made it. Understand what the platform does. You know what I'm saying? You create a game and you put it on Game Pass, you get like millions of eyes on this. There's a percentage of people who's gonna get that game, of the millions, and then those percentage will then advocate for your game to play, right? And then your game is discounted in the store. So I'm assuming Rain on Your Parade was like a $15 game.
Probably, yeah, maybe, yeah. It's an indie game, so it's quite small. So
You know-
it wouldn't cost you too much.
And you still have rights to that price, so you're not entirely free. You have a right for people to buy your game, and then when you buy your game, there's royalties on copies sold digitally that you'll get. Their developers are.
It is £12, so yeah, about $15.
I mean, dude, if I was making a game, it would be on something like Game Pass. Trust me, because
100%, yeah.
What was the other thing? When you put your game on Game Pass, I think Game Pass pays your production fee, your complete production fee. Yeah, I mean that's basically saying I got 10 to 100 people. It costs a couple $1 million.
So
$1,000.
You're only making profit
whatever.
out of your product.
So you still got to pay the people back. I mean, they got paid, but when they get into Game Pass, you know what I'm saying? So
And Rain on Your Parade is just like one example of Game Pass introducing a game to somebody for free, quote unquote, right?
yeah,
But they love the game so much, and then they end up buying it maybe on Steam so they can play it when they're on their computer, or they buy it on their Switch so they can have it on mobile. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think
that's awesome.
It's a small little game, and I don't think many people would have bought it or looked at it if it wasn't on Game Pass. And seeing it just blow up in a matter of days after being on the platform, it's crazy.
That's sick.
And if anyone's interested in that game too, it is a easy 1,000 gamer score.
This guy.
If you're an achievement hunter.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some guys online if you're interested in that.
Okay.
Cool. Well, the thing about I just realized too. People who hate on the platform, they see a game that's coming to a platform, says, you know what, I won't ever get Game Pass. I'll just buy the game to own it. The marketing has pushed you to buy the game regardless, because you would not have known that it's on Game Pass. When you think about it,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, come on, people, come on, work with us here. You know what I'm saying? What else you got? I mean, I think there was some Halo news, right?
Not this week, no.
Okay.
At least not that I know of.
Gotcha.
Not that I know of. But yeah, just something what we talked about a few episodes ago with Call of Duty Warzone, kind of little leak going on there,
Really?
which came out to be true. Yeah, again,
Okay.
we've brought facts. So yeah, there's a bit of a scandal. People were getting kind of lawsuits handed out by Activision with the Call of Duty Warzone leak of like a new map and what's going on there. But yeah, the leak basically said that they're going back in time to like 1980s.
What?
Warzone. Yep. There is some weird story logic behind that. But it is so convoluted and insane. I'm not even going to try and explain it.
That's fine. Yeah,
I think
weird.
basically the map got nuked, so they're going back in time. Something like
I mean, it makes sense because they want to use their, Cold War assets,
that.
right?
Yes. So they've gone and come back to that 1980s look, and maps all changed around.
I'm not gonna lie, they get me to play. I love the 80s.
Yeah, so I've seen videos and it looks really cool.
I'm a sucker.
They launched a new season alongside it. So that's cool for anyone who is a big Warzone player. I'm sure people are loving that right now.
Gotcha. Well, guys,
I mean, this is not Halo, but there's some Destiny 2 news. I don't know if you guys heard about that new transmog system.
I heard that there's a riot going on. There's like an internal riot within the game or something. It's crazy. It's crazy going on with Bungie and Destiny, bro.
There you go, Necro in the chat. Basically, modern day Verdansk got nuked due to a zombie overrun. Went back in time to continue the Atlas story. There you go. dropping bombs in the chat. Look at this. That sounds about right. There was some zombies. There's some zombies and they nuked it. It was a bit.
Okay.
It's a bit fun.
That's what's up. So for those who don't know, we are playing I'm playing the MLB The Show. Don had his struggle in the game. I'm just showing that it's on the Xbox. I was playing this on the Xbox Series X. There's a part to this game that I really like, and it's where you create your own character and you watch your character go through like the journey of being the ultimate baseball player. Now, the thing that I completely understand why Don feels this way is, if you notice, I'm pitching throughout this specific part of the game, mainly because I've kind of figured out how to pitch, and what happens is when you pitch and you have successful rounds of getting people out, it increases your stats. And then the game will ask you, do you want to continue playing in two different positions, as a pitcher or as an outfielder? Or do you just mainly want to bat? So you have these options in between games. When you're in the locker room, is going to ask you these questions, and you're kind of setting up the tone of how you want to play moving forward. Like, some people, they just want to bat, so they choose, I'm just going to bat the whole way through the season, whatever. Other people's want to have different experiences. So let's say in 3 innings, you can pitch. Another 3 innings, they might put you to the outfield, or they might sit you just to bat the last innings into the finishing of the 9. So it's just based on your gameplay. But for anyone that is interested and have never played this game, number 1, put everything on easy. Beginner.
Okay. Yep,
go beginner. This is not a game that you can say, yo, I go in hardcore, the hardest difficulty. And no, this is not. You will not survive the first match if you've never played a baseball game, and if you've never played MLB The Show, because there are some things that happen in this game. It is a simulation. It is not an arcade. Okay. The second part is, they provide you with some tools on how to pitch, how to swing and stuff like that, and it's using your controller. For me, I chose this direction because I press a button and then it tells me how they want to pitch it, within the box, outside the box, and what part of the box do you want to pitch it into. I like that because it's easier. There's another one where you use your right stick and you do like this circle motion that I have no clue how that is even done. That's kind of like on a different level. There's 3 different modes. So pick your poison. The game is awesome. It does have its drawn out moments when you're you're walking people or they're hitting all your balls and they sit you out in the game. They sit you out in the game, people. Your coach will put you on the bench. So just if you're not performing,
the game benches you.
The game will bench you if you're not performing. And they say you're only good at batting at this point because I think you're tired. So, but yeah,
is there
man.
like a character creation mode?
Yeah, that's my character creation, dude. Him with the dreads, 38. Yeah. Okay. There's a character creation mode. You'll be able to give your guy, whatever color eyes, hair. You make him heavy, make him light, rip, whatever. You can create your team in the game. You could bring your guy into, I think it's the franchise where he's a part of one of the major baseball leagues. Like, I think this league I'm in is kind of like there's Major League Baseball, but then you would never see this team, I think, in the major league, right? They're not like up there.
Oh.
There's the Miami Marlins or whatever the case may be. Like this team is in Miami. I've never heard the Pensacola somethings. I've never heard about them before, but I'm playing as them and I'm helping them win. So that's a good thing. So
yeah.
Okay, so they have like minor league and major league.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Cool. So it's a very cool game. Very cool game.
Is there like progression to it, like to make your character like better?
Yes. So after every inning, right, it shows you your advancements based on how well you played or how you sucked. Now, if you sucked, then you're not going to see growth there. They're not going to give you like negative points. Well, actually, you know what? You do see it. Like, let's say I'm pitching right now, right? If I strike him out, right, I get pluses based on my visual, based on my arm throw, whatever, contact. Now, when the guy catches the ball, right, there's a handshake over his head. It's building my relationship with the first baseman. Because, it's things like that happens in there. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty nice.
That kind of reminds me of like old school sport games, like, because it just kind of feels like with the newer sport games, especially like the EA ones, you gotta like buy all your characters and you gotta, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think the buying of characters is in here, but I think because of how loot boxes affected the industry, everything has been done in game. So you can buy in game characters. You get packs, like if you play a certain amount of days, there's a pack that you're working towards, but it's random, right? So like the first day was like this guy I've never heard of. I don't follow on baseball, but this guy I never heard of. So if you have completed 10 days, that guy would have been in your lineup or in your roster, right?
Okay.
So there is that, and it's cool. It's cool. I recommend it to anybody who just want to play some sports. They're not really into football, not really into basketball. This one is just an alternative, definitely. All right. Guys, this is it. This is the end of the show for this weekend, this Saturday. Again, apologize for the intermission that we had earlier. The computer restarted on its own. I blame Windows 10.
Skynet, bro.
Bro, and I was like pressing buttons like get back on, open up OBS, open up Discord, the whole nine, trying to get this going, because that's like the internet going down, and then you're like, man, I pay you like $50 a month
for you to discuss it again.
You know what I'm saying? You're saying 99.9% uptime and you're down. I'm just saying. But thank you guys for sticking in. Thank you guys for being here. Necro, Lewis, Jennifer, coming in, and the rest of you guys, the 8 other people who, you know, just listening to us speak, thank you very much for the support. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and we will see you next week with some more news. Until then, have a good weekend.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.